All right, folks, it's time to do yet another stream on Rauta. This time it's, of course, September 2024, as we're about 1 week in September. And this time I decided to combine Ask Me Anything questions, which are marked already on my calendar as a separate video from the stream. And I decided to, let's do them both at the same time, meaning I get to answer the questions first, and when people start joining the whole stream, then I can actually, you know, uh, ask the questions in the stream. So, without further ado, welcome to the stream. I know there are more than maybe one people already, and we'll start with Massey's Brewery Black as my current Berliner Weisse 4.5%. Finnish uh, small microbrewery or mini brewery beer. And I'm going to do this one as I answer your questions. Let's pour this baby in a glass. As you can see, very, very nice red color. Too bad you're going to smell it through the mic or, camera. So very red color. Depending where you take a look at it, it's not exactly transparent, but translucent, I guess, would be the right word. Foaming quite a bit. This is sweating a little bit because it was outside after taking it from the fridge. Once again, I'm going to remind you a couple of things. First of all, if you want to ask me something and make sure that I answer your questions, tag me. That means at Rauta. I'll give you a good example how to do it, and this will get me notified with the color. So tag me if you want to make sure that I get to read your comments, because eventually there will be more comments that I will be able to read. The other thing is, once again, I know I'm beating a dead cow here, but in case you want to help the cause, so to say, Rauta's thing, you want to donate some money for the cause, uh, you can either become a Patreon supporter on Rauta, get some free items or the course of action. You can become Rauta Patreon here, or if you want to just donate some, I don't know, €1 or two, or who knows, even 10 or whatever, you can use this PayPal link to donate the money. And in case you're wondering where the money goes, I'll keep repeating myself here until the end of days. The money goes to Rauta's special account so I can buy myself a Porsche, or I don't know, luxury ladies. Just kidding. Obviously, those money will be saved in the bank account, which will be used then again book flights and hotels when we're traveling to festivals. That meaning me and my cameraman. So some metal fan on the roll so I don't get that sweaty. As you can see, now that the foam is gone, this nice looking beer is very, very red. Berliner Weisse from Finland. Damn, this is good stuff. Kind of a sour, not too sweet, just how I like it. So, welcome to street people from France, Voltmund, Örimöri, I guess from Finland, heavy metal from Brazil. So, off we go. Like I mentioned previously, I'm gonna do some answer some questions. Now I'm wondering, where did I put all these questions that people have been asking? Oh yeah, these are coming from various sources, obviously. So I've been just collecting a few questions because sometimes people just ask me those questions under some video and whatever, and they're kind of out of place. So I'm gonna answer here. There's one question I got recently, and which creator album I like, or a creator albums. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never been exactly a creator listener. For some reason, that's one trash bands, one of those bigger bands I never actually got into too much. To be honest, I don't know why. Maybe I started with some of the wrong albums. I mean, they changed their style after a few years of existence. This was somewhere in the 90s, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember which album started that phase. Anyway, those albums were one of the first Creator albums I heard, and I kind of figured it's not my thing. Obviously, later on, I learned that Creator did a little bit different early on and after that, and as such, I kind of I was meant to go through that whole thing afterwards and figure out if there's something like really cool ones like Sodom or Destruction coming from the German scene, but I kind of forgot that. Now the good news is now that I'm doing a lot of these retrospective videos of bands which I have interviewed, Creator is very high on the list. After all, I'm starting to add these retrospective videos of interviews I did back when we started in 2017, 2018, and I'm going with the bands I've interviewed. And Creator was one of the early ones I got to talk to. I think it was 2017, but could have been 2018. So anyway, I do have a Creator retrospective planned ahead, which means I am bound to do the whole run. So maybe then I can actually answer that question: which Creator albums I really, really like. The second question is what's your favorite gig so far? Now, this depends, of course, whether we talk about all-time favorites or just certain gigs like this year. This wasn't specified, so I'm gonna give both answers. This year, the best gig so far has been the Battery tribute at Bergen 2024 Beyond the Gates, where this Battery tribute gig was played. It was magnificent, outstanding, really great stuff, and which I mentioned in my Beyond the Gates recap video already like a month ago. Now, of my all-time gigs, then it gets tricky because it depends when we go for a little bit nostalgic path. Like when I was 17, I saw Metallica for the first time in 1993. It was really, really great. It was my first big gig in the first place, and Metallica was like my number one band back in the days. So that is, of course, high on the list. Then again, also seeing Rammstein a few times, all really, really great. It's really hard for bands to compete with the Rammstein gigs. And of course, that comes as a fan. I mean, that's kind of a given, but it's just so much bigger and so much more an experience than just a gig, if you will. So all those Rammstein gigs would be very high on the list. And definitely last but not least would be, seeing Slayer for the few times, as well as that special Dark Throne gig in 2004 Wacken when, Nocturno Culto was playing about 30 minutes, if I remember correctly, 5 or 6 songs. I think it was 6 songs, but not sure. About 30 minutes. Anyway, in the end of the Satyricon gig, they played Dark Throne songs. That's close as you can see Dark Throne live, and that was unfortunately 20 years ago. So hard to just pick one favorite. From the first Metallica to Rammstein shows to that Dark Throne thing. And indeed, that Battery tribute gig is very, very high on my list. So, yeah, those are my favorite gigs of all time. Question number 3. When you go to see a gig, whatever it might be, what is the most important aspect of the show to you personally? Of course, it's the music first. As much as I would like to say, yeah, it's this and that, it's the atmosphere, it's the right mood, it's whatever. No, really, what matters is if the music doesn't click, it doesn't matter how cool you look on the stage, how much special things are happening, because it's the music that makes us click. I mean, surely some bands, might do good stuff with the music. I mean, I've seen Nile gig where the show was kind of a boring and, the sound wasn't too good. And it wasn't that much of a great gig in that sense. But then again, I've noticed, for example, seeing Enslaved quite a few times. I always enjoy them so much because the music is just so good. So in the end, we come to the very basic thing. We get back to that. And that's music first. But of course, it helps when there's a nice live performance, the feeling, the atmosphere, and of course, good sound. They all, mean in the whole big picture. But music first, always. Number four is a question that I guess a lot of people really wonder about, and it's how do you get these interviews? Now, it's not really magic happening. What it really means is that I connect either the festival or some band representative, or sometimes go to the band directly. I ask them, whoever it is in this case, that if it would be possible. I explain what Rauta is all about because I don't assume any of the bands or their representatives to know what Rauta is. It certainly helps when a say band knows, like, hey, I know your channel, of course we're gonna do it. But most bands, I guess, they don't know what this channel is, and as such you might have to kind of give them a sales pitch to explain like what I'm doing with the channel, what kind of conversation it's gonna be, etc., etc. So landing with an interview, making it happen, it really varies from band to band. Sometimes it's just as easy as sending an email to a band and asking, like, hey, this is Sherry from Rauta. Would you like to be interviewed on my channel? Let's do a video interview in English. Takes about 30 minutes, give or take. And I explained the style and all that stuff. I try to keep it simple so that nobody has to read a wall of text before agreeing to do this interview. But yeah, sounds simple, but sometimes it can take quite a few emails, can take weeks for a band to answer, like, hey, okay, let's do this interview. But usually, when bands, I think, figure out or understand what this channel is all about and, understand my style, I think most of them say yes because I get more yes than no. But there are bands that don't want to do interviews at all. So, of course, it's not given that I just go pick a phone or send an email like, let's do interview. But this is how it gets, and this is how it happens. I just contact them and wish for the best. Of course, it has helped that Rauta has become bigger. That means bands are more likely to agree to say yes to my requests. I mean, compared to when this Rauta was like very small, had no followers, no subscribers, and nobody knew what it was. Now that we have been doing this for more than 7 years and we're getting closer to 20,000 subscribers, it's easier to get these interviews, easier to get the festivals and all that stuff. But other than that, it's mostly straightforward and simple. And this last thing is the fifth question is more like not really a question as such, but more like a bunch of accusations or wanderings or all that stuff. Like, so you must be some kind of a neo-Nazi or fascist or whatever because of the haircut and because of that I interview certain bands which are seen toxic or problematic or just very extreme in their nature. Are you one of those guys? Are you Nazi? Are you fascist? Are you right wing? Are you this and that? I get a lot of these accusations. Of course, I've been getting them throughout the years. Sometimes just because I'm from Finland. Sometimes because I'm a bald guy. Sometimes because I interview and question bands that are coming from certain aspects and certain fields of political spectrum, right wing especially. Now, the answer is no. I'm not a right wing. I'm not a left wing. I'm not a neo Nazi. I'm not a fascist. I'm not a racist. I'm none of the things you might wish I am or think that I am. And why this needs to be explained time after time, year after year is I get these accusations as assumptions. People are like assuming. People like to assume a lot, as ridiculous as it is. I mean, there is even this meme like saying like, did you just assume my gender? Did you assume my religion or faith or whatever? And this is where it gets funny. People are like very, very no when it comes to assuming their gender, and as such gender neutral pronouns are being used, and you should be just addressing a person as a person, not a him, her, or whatever. But funnily enough, it never goes when it comes to politics. People are just assuming. They're not even not bothering to ask, like, hey, do you have a political stand? In my case, it's not. No, I didn't even vote in the political party thing because, to be honest, I don't find politics that much interesting. I actually find them very annoying. And I know that in democracy, you are supposed to, vote. And I actually voted in the presidential election in Finland. Either way, both of my favorite candidates get into the last round of things. So I was totally happy how it turned out. But yeah, I'm not a political person, but why I do like to talk of bands from various parts, be it left or be it right, is because they tend to be more interesting when they have extreme opinions. And this is saying I'm less interesting myself because I don't have a strong political take. I'm just a kind of a nihilistic in that sense. And I'm an atheist person, so I don't have a faith myself. I'm just like all life is kind of a meaningless and all this political game is kind of a bullshit, but I'm still interested to hear these bands explain what they are. And if it makes me Nazi or if it makes me anti-fascist just because I hang out and question these bands that are supporting certain agenda, then I am everything you claim to be. If you say I'm a Nazi, then I probably am in that corner of things. If you call me a dragon or orc, goblin, elf, dwarf, fantasy creature, Jesus fucking Christ reborn, I am probably that person as well. You can call me a fucking pyramid. I don't give a fucking shit about it. I am just a metalhead, and when I listen to music, I don't hear politics in that stuff. There is no Antifa, drum beat, or there is no Nazi kind of a riff. It's just riffs, frequencies, patterns, rhythmics, all that stuff. You might sing about this and that, and I probably won't agree what you say in your lyrics. But then again, there are plenty of good lyrics in various bands. Sometimes I don't give a shit what the band says in the lyrics. Sometimes I do give a lot. But that's as much as I can say about it. I get asked that about a lot, and I get assumed a lot. And what can I say? People who rather assume and decide for yourself rather than ask and find whatever the reality is. There's maybe no cure for that, people. Anyway, I hope this um, cleared some air and gave people some answers they were looking for. And all that stuff. But I don't know. People should be asking more and assuming less. I guess that's pretty much of it. Now, this was the AMA part of the stream here, the first 20 minutes or so. So now I'm bound to read the comments. So once again, keep me tagging and I will read those comments first. Now that we've been some 17, 18 minutes in the stream. Now, there's plenty of comments already in the backlog right here. I'm going to be reading them. I'm going to answering them to the best of my abilities while drinking beer and all that stuff. So, how are you doing, guys? I hope you're doing well. Terve, Finwraith, doing well. Waldman is asking how Nightside is going. Nightside is going nicely. We have a gig next week, next Saturday in Helsinki. Our second time ever playing in Helsinki. It's a festival gig at Cult of Darkness, a festival that's happening now for the first time, headlined by Archgoat and featuring bands like X of Gomorrah and all that stuff. Featured the preview of the festival already last weekend on the channel if you want to find more about it. And it was announced last Sunday that we're going to play at Steelfest 2025, which, in my opinion, is a big milestone for us. Why so? Well, Steelfest just happens to be my favorite festival. There's a good atmosphere, good similar audience for the people we want to play. So I think we're doing nicely. We could have a lot more gigs, granted. I would like to go outside Finland to play gigs with Nightside. But at the moment, there's certain personal issues which kind of slows us down in terms of agreeing and booking more gigs. but that is bound to change within coming months, so nothing too serious to worry about. But in other terms, we are already rehearsing new songs. While the latest album, Death from the North, has been out only for like 3 months now, and we're already getting new songs rehearsed, and I'm expecting the guys to deliver some really really nice songs. I've heard, of course, a few. I'm thinking of the lyrical themes, and I really really like rehearsing new songs. You know, way more than I actually do like to do gigs. Don't get me wrong, I do like to perform gigs, but making new music and releasing that stuff is even more important to me. So yeah, Knights at Camp is doing nice, I guess, but I'm looking forward actually to play outside Finland. That would be the next big thing for me after Steelfest, anyway. Yeah, naturally, the funny thumbnail was something that Chris, my thumbnail wizard, came up with. I think it's a wordplay, ama, which is to love. So there's this love theme with the thumbnail. Of course, AMA means ask me anything, but because ama in Spanish really means like loving, so I think Chris came up with the silly idea like, let's put the AI version of me laying around on the bed, very erotic, ready to tackle some lovely questions. So yes, Natred, indeed, Chris is hard at work with photo sweatshop. Hello, Leif. Welcome to the stream. Yes, Natred, the tribute show. The thing is, it was, if you take a look at the battery tribute, which I covered in my Bergen video, you will understand why that tribute gig was so great. It was an all-star lineup, like really all-star lineup. You have to understand that part before you start just calling it a random tribute gig. And the second thing was, of course, well, Bathory is one of my favorite black metal acts. So hearing Bathory songs performed live, it's just not a tribute thing, it's the tribute thing. So yeah, hard to beat Bathory in their own game. Hello, Vu, and welcome to the stream. Hello to Poland. Murder likes the Azazel interview the most. Interesting. And no, I haven't heard the latest Linkin Park song. I heard they got a new vocalist, but I've never been a fan of the band. I'm curious to see how it turns out, but to be honest, I have very, very low expectations about Linkin Park. Never hated the band, never loved it. Like I said, I'm gonna first answer the questions that are tagged. So I'm gonna reward people who actually tag me, and then if I have the time, I will answer the rest of the questions. Waldman was asking about the interviews I've done for French and British bands you like the most. Other French and British bands you like the most? To be honest, I mean your reviews. Well, of British bands, Bolt Thrower is number one. Other than that, I don't really have any big British favorites. When it comes to French bands, well, I don't have big love for a lot of French bands. I mean, there are good black metal coming from France, not so much death metal, not so much thrash metal. Mutilation is definitely right there, but I don't think it counts as reviews because it's more like a retrospective, where's the best kind of a thing. I've reviewed some nice French black metal later on, but I wouldn't call my favorites among British and French bands, really. Leif is asking a really interesting and good question which needs to be addressed. How many bands want the questions know beforehand? Like thinking about Azazel. Well, only a few bands have asked me to send the questions before, but I never do that. So it doesn't matter how many bands are asking for me to do that. I never send my questions beforehand because I don't have them. I believe in inorganic questions. You never see me like piece of paper, like, okay, let's talk about the band name, let's talk about your albums. You don't never see me with a list. And no, my memory isn't so good that I could just run down a list of questions in my head. So it's all about organic conversation, much like now you ask me questions, I'm gonna answer you, and I'm gonna do that back and forth. But once upon a time, there was a band that denied me in an interview because they wanted to have questions beforehand. And I said, I don't do it. Luckily, a few years later, the band was happy to do an interview with me despite without getting the questions beforehand. So there's that. With Azazel, it of course helped that I've known the drummer for, I don't know, over 20 years, maybe 25. And I've known the vocalist a few years too. And we're more or less connected with the some of the rest of the guys as well. So it helps when you know the people, then they know if they can trust me. And I think most people can trust me. But who I'm to say? Sadistic Vitamin asking how I listened to the new Winter Sun album. Yes, I listened to it a few weeks ago. I think 2 weeks before it got out, just out of curiosity because there was so much hype in Finland about Winter Sun. Frankly speaking, it was okay. I'm not a fan of Winter Sun's music. It's not like it annoys me, but I'm not too much into this kind of melodic death metal combination of thing, or more like death metal, power metal combination. So no, I don't really get the Winter Sun hype. But then again, most hype is, in my opinion, lots of bullshit. Um, so yeah, I mean, I know already that some Winter Sun people are fans are really great, happy about the new album and all. But I think it comes with the territory. If you already like the band, you're gonna like the new Winter Sun album as well. But for me, I mean, it's a decent album, but I don't see why I would be going back to that particular album. Oh, and thank you, Waldman, about the rant part. Leif is asking me another question. I should do a video about black metal turned shitty or ideological diarrhea. Yeah, death metal keeps on going great, doing their own thing. Yeah, to be honest, that's one of the topics, not literally exactly like that, but along the lines, I've been thinking about the same. Then again, I don't feel like black metal never, you know, turned shit. But I think that when black metal was exposed, and now this is a gatekeeping warning, what I'm going to say, I think when tourists started exploring black metal, of course, a lot of black metal got diluted, and these tourists who, in my opinion, never understood what black metal was about, then they were shocked. Like there is like extreme metal in extreme metal. It's almost like you go to a fucking pizzeria, and then you're shocked that you actually get the dough with some tomato sauce and some, toppings. It's like I have a celiakia. I cannot, eat, food with, wet, this wet and shit, wheat and shit. And, like it's gonna give me a stomach pain. Or if you're like a meat eater and you go to a kebab shop and then you're shocked having your kebab full of meat, like what the fuck you were expecting? It's black metal, and black metal has been extreme style of metal since the day fucking one. All the bands were pouring in their extreme metal ideas and ideologies, and including extreme metal riffing, vocal styles, probably horrible songs like Necro, this and Necro that, especially with like Raising the Dead or Satan this, Satan that, burn down your local church and whatever. And then people are like shocked. It's just not music. Oh my goodness, I'm hurt. My body's hurt that extreme metal is actually extreme. Like, people, what the fuck? It's like getting upset that racing cars actually drive fast. Like, I don't know. If people would actually do their homework, maybe then they wouldn't be so goddamn fucking shocked. So it's like me being shocked that my beer has alcohol in it. What the hell, So, in my opinion, a lot of people are stupid. That's the bottom line, and I'm not gonna say that I am not stupid. Of course, I'm stupid in many things in my life and all that stuff. But I try to be educated enough that I don't go to lecture like people like, hey, you do this and that when it's not my thing. The funny thing is, uh, when we talk about cultural appropriation, and when people are like coming outside of a thing to steal or borrow your thing or copy that thing, this is exactly what's happening in black metal as well. People from outside the extreme metal scene are coming to black metal, and then they're shocked to find out these people are actually gatekeeping. These people are actually, you know, doing or saying horrible things. Like, dude, should go without saying. Like, this is it. It's not called extreme metal because it sounds like pop music, right? So yeah, in a way, black metal kind of got diluted because of the tourism. But that it is what it is. I mean, death metal kind of never had these things so much because death metal never had these, what do you call, sexiness. Black metal was seen, so much intriguing, so interesting because it was this mystic, occult, and also this dangerous of criminal thing. What happened in Norway and other places. um, it had this mystery, this veil of something not mundane, something out of your everyday life is happening within the whole thing called black metal. Whereas death metal was just like guys like, okay, let's pick our guitars and do heavy riffing, but you don't have to have the theatrics, you don't have to have certain kind of ideological takes. But yes, people can be butthurt about death metal too. Like, really, they sing about violence and murder and necrophilia. God damn it, that's horrible. I mean, of course it's horrible. It's extreme metal once again. Uh, but yeah, I don't know what people really expect. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, I'm getting too over about it. Answering too long and all. Thank you, Waldman, about Steelfest comment. Let's get it on. DJ Luomi is asking if I had read Barry Vikernes biography books. No, I haven't. Truly, to be said, I don't have that much interest in buying those books. First of all, Vikernes seems to change his own take on the years, and I don't know if I'm really willing to support that with my own money. Now, if I was sent those books for review, I would read them and review them. But at the moment, I have more interesting books waiting for me. Yeah, Waldman, let's hope that someday Nightside gets to play in France. I really hope that we get the possibility. Ikarius Natarius, our old friend who helped Rauta first in the beginning. Thank you so much, by the way, still. He's asking how much of black metal is coping strategies for trauma instead of genuine artist impression, or can you even differentiate between the two? Um, I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to ask with this question. So can you like elaborate what you mean coping strategies for trauma? Uh, I'm not sure if I follow your question with that. So please give me another go. Hello, USDM90. What's up? Answering your questions and having beer. All right. Once again, tag me when you're asking me questions, and then I will hopefully see it. I mean, I will see your tagging. So now I'm gonna read some back scroll questions. Meanwhile, Ikarius Natarius also asked earlier, are there any new interesting avant-garde or upcoming really interesting bands that would be something really new for metal music that people should look for if metal music seems stale? Now, there are always bands that explore new territories. Some people might say the future lies within core bands. And that's in a way true. The core thing is trending, whether we're talking about deathcore or various other sources of metalcore. Avant-garde metal bands tend to explore new territories as much as progressive metal, but sometimes, in my opinion, it's leading outside metal. So I think the big question is, do you want to get in Rome or out Rome? So if you want to get into metal, I don't think bands like various core things or progressive or avant-garde things are the right way, because they're going outside the box. Um, if you're going inside the box, that is, let's use the Rome metaphor as either city state or whatever. I think one should not really be thinking of, getting something new. Like black metal is all the time renewing way more than death metal or trash metal. Then again, trash metal has been always very, very narrow in the sense. If you do anything out of your typical old school fashion of trash metal, people will say it's crossover. If you add layers to death metal, people will I'd say, yeah, it's now death black, or it's death trash, or it's progressive or melodic death metal. But with black metal, you can say raw black metal, traditional 1990s black metal. You can go old school black metal, black trash, if you will. You can go modern black metal, like dissonant style. You can go atmospheric black metal. So black metal is way more, a bigger scope. There's more room to go and still be called black metal, which I kind of find ridiculous, because back in the 90s, we would very easily say, like, if you go past this border, you are playing now dark metal, not, black metal. Or with dissection, nowadays everybody considers it's just, black metal. Back in the days, people would say, like, no, it's melodic death metal with some satanic topics. So whether we call it melodic black metal or melodic death metal with some satanic themes or whatever goes beyond the scope of this answer. My point here is, people tend to put so much more into the world of black metal. Like a lot of black metal albums don't even sound like black metal, if that makes sense. Like think about early Ulver, Bergtat, for example. Would you really consider a lot of bands doing clean vocals and all that folky stuff to be called black metal? I mean, versus what you have in trash metal. If you add clean vocals in trash metal, or you include certain non-metallic instruments, people will be, nope, it's crossover or it's groove metal or something else. So it's kind of a funny that people just put a lot of things under the umbrella term of black metal versus other things. I mean, like classic heavy metal, it's much like trash metal. It's very, very narrow what you can include without being, oh, it's not heavy metal, it's progressive metal. Or, oh, it's not that heavy, it's hard rock, man. And then start listening bands like Motley Crue or Skid Row or Wasp, and you're like, where you draw the line between heavy metal or hard rock, Because I mean, a lot of bands like Motley Crue or Wasp don't really sound like Bon Jovi, which is then again also called hard rock. My point here is, in black metal, you can sound very, very atmospheric and soft and all that stuff. And people are, yeah, but it's black metal. They have the shrieky vocals, screamy vocals, raspy vocals. With death metal, they don't have growls. It's not death metal anymore. So once again, yeah, how you box it in different ways, that kind of also affects how these questions are to be answered. Like, how much you can go outside metal and still feel it new and consider it that. Like, for example, bands like Leprous, they're considered progressive metal, and surely they are kind of a metallic to sound heavy, but at the same time I also feel like, where does it stop sounding metal and start sounding more like rock music? Because a lot of Leprous music, which I find personally annoying, is actually not heavier than a lot of rock music. So if you want to go to something new, I always say, go for the avant-garde, go for the progressive, go beyond metal to be first place. But if you try to keep it metal, and yet not sounding metal and something new. I don't think it's gonna work. It's like you are gonna either be in or out. Eventually, the kind of a dualistic black and white thing goes in. My point here is after a certain step, you're out of the border. And that goes for metal music as well. But I'm not here to draw the lines like exactly, but my point here is this is a very problem with being vague with genres and all that stuff. All right, Finraid asked me like, oh, this was comment about the Linkin Park thing. Let's move on. Oh yeah, Nathalie was asking about my hair. Was the reason to cut it short? No, after military service, I had my hair grow longer again. I mean, I had long hair before I went to military service. Cut it short, then grow it long. But it was actually when I was doing martial arts, especially. I mean, I've been doing martial arts since like year 2000 or whatever. Originally, I started in the early 90s, but that was a long break, so it doesn't count. So let's call it from 2000 and onwards. So I was doing a lot of martial arts, and especially when I started doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu and submission grappling, where you're always on the ground and your hair is a mess and it gets on your way. And this was 2011, if I remember correctly, when I was like, I've had enough of my long hair. I don't really need it. I mean, for moshing and whatever. So I just decided to get it cut. And I kind of never looked back. Also, I've the kind of a basic Finnish person in that sense that we Finns, a lot of us, this goes with the genes. In our DNA, we have rather thin type of hair, which means when you get older, you start looking like fucking Gollum. Like the hair just looks bad. That's why you see a lot of grannies and all that stuff cutting their hair short when they get older. So yeah, it's the Finnish type. We don't have the nice looking hair of the Asian people or Latinx people, Latina. We don't have the Mediterranean, nice looking hair like Spanish, Italian, Southern French, Greek people tend to have. So we're kind of fucked here up in the north. That's the story of my haircut. What else? Hello, Tia. Nice to have you in the stream as well. Ben was asking about meeting anyone in a band I like that was a negative experience for you. Yeah, but those are very few. Certainly, some people have been kind of I don't know, grumpy or annoying or just disrespectful, but honestly, especially in the extreme metal scene in Finland, most people are so humble. There are no rock and roll dreams, and people tend to be just people. They don't make a number like, hey, I play in a fucking band and I'm this obnoxious dude because I'm a someone. I mean, I know, especially when you're a big celebrity, like let's talk about FIFA players or tennis stars or I don't know, Hollywood actors. Sometimes when people are big, it gets in their head. Or maybe there's just too many leeches out there, like, hey, I'm going to be your best friend. Give me your money and all that shit. Maybe they become super cynical and they're like, fuck you. I don't want to spending time with you and all that stuff. And then that's when they get super negative. But in the underground metal scene, really, everybody is more or less humble people and they don't make fuss about themselves. So really, those negative moments are really, really rare. Yeah, Cecilia, sorry for the thumbnail misleading. You don't see my naked body here and all that stuff. So there's that. Hello, Rotten Punks from Arizona, Phoenix. Nice. Since you asked what a beer I'm having today, I have a couple of beers here. Mazis Brewery recently sent me a box of beers, and I decided to have this on stream. And this time I'm having Mazis Brewery's Black as my current black ass. This is a Berliner Weisse style of beer, 4.5. And nice and a little bit sour. I like Berliner Weisse type of beer. And as you can see, this is really, really red. Of course, there's a little bit error how the camera makes this beer look like, but you can see it. It's not exactly blood red, but close enough. So very, very gothic. All right, let's move on with the questions. All right. Hold on with your questions. I'm reading the backlog. Natred, the best French death metal band that comes to my mind is Benighted, and that's a good one. And Cecily Taylor is like, hit that like button or Marty will be waiting in bed for you. That's a good, good threat. Marty will be ruining her day and night if you don't hit that like button. Oh yeah, not right. Winter Sun has been a big thing in Finland anyway. KV, why can't black metal be ideological? My answer would be black metal should be ideological in the first place. That's the thing. If black metal is not ideological at all, I mean, it should be totally nihilistic, which is rarely the case. But yeah, I don't think black metal should be just for fun. That's my opinion anyway. And yeah, in my opinion, extreme metal should be pushing boundaries. All right, let's go on. Nigo is having a Plevna Siberia beer and came here to hear my ranting. I hope it was worth the wait. Siberia beer is pretty good. KB, I've seen 3 versions of Tuntematon Sotilas, and they are all good. Yes, Natred, of course, we'll draw the line somewhere. Everybody does draw the line. So, I don't know. It's interesting that KV is not from from Finland, by the way, knowing Tuntematon Sotilas. But yeah, they're all good. There are 3 versions of Tuntematon Sotilas. They're all good. Different decades, obviously. So there's that. Yeah, Netherred, I don't want to support Vikernes buying Lada parts. All right, I see and some new tags with questions. Sorry for lagging behind the answers. Yeah, Icarius Natteris. I think this is actually what I answered for Nightside in an interview a while ago, a few months ago. I think black metal as any is definitely an outlet for emotions and what goes in your head. And in my opinion, the best music comes from those emotions, from heart, from mind, whatever you're going through. Obviously, every band decides what kind of lyrics they're going to put out when they're like putting their energy, their emotions, their thoughts into the very art they're making. I like to think that black metal for me is a outlet for many different things. It can be hatred or aggression, anxiety, a lot of those dark things really which go in my mind. There are lots of things I have never told anyone in this life. Sometimes some weird fucking dark things that go in my head, which you will never see in my real life because there's some weird fucking things that just pop in my head. I don't know if I'm a crazy person. That's a whole different topic. My point here is certain ideas that go in my head are then put into the piece of paper, metaphorically speaking, which means they can be riffs, they can be melodies, they can be lyrics. Um, so yeah, a lot of things come from certain feeling. Sometimes I can, get frustrated about world or people or various events, and that kind of a triggers me, and that trigger is then put into the music. Like, for example, recently I've been reading about history of Baltic Sea, and a lot of wars, slavery, crazy decisions by mad kings or other rulers who have been killing people in the name of Christ or money or power or all those combined. And of course, that inspires me. Sometimes it's the human sickness, human greediness that inspires me. And now, if somebody's like, "So, are you making music so the world would be better place?" The answer would be no and yes at the same time. Paradoxically, my point here is, of course, I would like to make the world more suitable for me. So, in a way, better place just for me and the people who are like me. Would it be better for a lot of other people? Not likely. Like today, a Jehovah's Witness person, an old guy, ready to die, almost undead level shit, came to our house today and like, hey, well, nice to meet you, blah blah blah. And I was like shaking hands, why not? Of course, you're polite and shit. I'm the local Jehovah's Witness representative. Then I was like, nope, absolutely not. I just cut him off and said like, nope, we're really hard ass atheists. We have nothing to discuss about it. Younger version of me would have probably gone borderline violent or really aggressive. I mean, I've challenged some religious people over the years, even if I invited them in my home, borderline aggressive, because I want to point out that they are fucking sick people and they're fucked in their heads. And if you ask me honestly, I don't give a fuck if they die like this. But this case, I had other business to attend to, and this guy was gonna die anyway. So it's not like I want to cause him extra misery. But I was like, absolutely no. We have nothing to discuss. And he was putting his hand in his pocket, like, maybe if you change your mind. And I was like, nope, absolutely no. And he understood it. He was like, okay, fine. I just on my way. And he turned and walked away. So yeah, these topics, which I might put into the in a song, and how I would like, let's make the world a better place, would not be a better place for people like him, believing God and shit. Because I would probably ruin their lives. Not necessarily ruin them. I just would make them better. I'm like a fuck, not a fucking Adolf Hitler. My point here is sometimes when you make things better in your own opinion, for you and your own family or other people you like, doesn't mean it's gonna be better place for the rest of us. Just think of the history and you know how it goes. And yeah, I think a lot of people in black metal are kind of broken. I mean, they're damaged goods in a way. So, in my opinion, a lot of regular pop or rock themes wouldn't fit black metal in the first place. Martin Melee, I actually recently reviewed their latest album, Curse Upon a Prayer. But then again, I've reviewed like 4 or 5 different releases over them by the years. And of course, you are supposed to pronounce the name like the Bon Jovi song, Living on a Prayer, Curse Upon a Prayer. You know, I love it. That joke never gets old. Oh, my take on them. I've just reviewed many of them. I'm not gonna sorry waste my time here, uh, the stream because the reviews are already out there. Um, Leif is making like here, finishing up the points. Loved like DM comes off as a take the music seriously, but don't take yourself seriously. But black metal stereotypically people take the music seriously, but also the act. In my opinion, you can go either way. A lot of my favorite trash metal things are like really as serious topics as black metal. But of course, you're supposed to be able to laugh at yourself. Um, and I think you can do both at the same time. You can laugh at yourself and still take yourself seriously. So it's not like a black and white thing, you know. Um, it's more about sometimes black metal people tend to be a little bit more hysterical about the whole thing, which I find also in a way stupid. But then again, I love when there's this passion, this flame, this fire that burns, and it's not just music because just music is just boring. So yeah, thank you, Carriers Notorious, about your comment about the channel getting strong. Channel is growing steadily, and I think we are going some places eventually. At least, Rauta has been able to travel more festivals past couple of years. So in a way, it has gone forward, meaning I get to do more interviews, which then again brings more good content here. And yes, Network, I think you're right about the Greek getting too much hair. That's the thing. And Mark Miller, yeah, I don't want to rock like Pest or the Niflheim guys, but that's the Nordic style. Waldman is asking which future gigs am I looking forward to see. Well, this November is already packing some interesting gigs, local here ones. But of course, I'm looking already to 2025. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, not right. Benighted is definitely the best French thing. The funny thing is they don't sound French at all. That's kind of funny, in my opinion. Uh, People, give me like 1 second. I'm gonna fetch another beer because I have two. I need to finish that before we go. All right, Rauta back in the business. Another Masis Brewery beer. This is Kamala Sour. Now, Kamala is not referring to Kamala Harris, the presidential candidate in the United States, but Kamala actually means horrible. And in this particular case, it refers to Finnish comic strip thing called Kamala Luonto, horrible nature, where these cute or not so cute animals do weird things. Sometimes they say weird things. They have comical takes on things. It's actually a fairly good comic strip thing. It's kind of a very mainstream, so kind of a safe and all, but I mean, it has its moments. It's been running for a long time in Finland, and this beer is to uh, celebrate that. Here you see it, Kamala Luonto, horrible nature. Luonto meaning nature and all. And here it says, Kamala Luonto on suomalainen sarja, joka sisältää mustaa huumoria ja suoraa puhetta. And basically means Kamala Luonto is a Finnish comic strip which has black humor and straight talk. And you can read about the comic on kamalaluonto.com or elukkamania.fi. Find your local totem animal right there. And there it says that this is in collaboration between the Massis Brewery, the brewery making the beer, as well as Kamala Luonto comic strip. So there is the story about this stuff. So yeah, I like that these are doing. The funny thing is, Massey's Brewery is doing collaboration both with metal bands. I have a few metal band beers right there, as well as these kind of comic things. And I'm happy that they are making good beers and sending me some. So let's have this sour one here while I am trying to read your comments and hopefully not spilling beer. Let's wait the foam to come down. Thank you, Cecilia Taylor, about your comment about the Into the Necrosphere interview. I think it was pretty deep about me and Nightside. So people who want to know more about me should definitely see the Into the Necrosphere interview about Nightside between me and the man running the show. Hello, Marshall Lore. Nice to have you here. I have a good question. If I could interview any band or artist, dead or alive, who? Dead? It would be definitely Quarton of Bathory, or Chuck Schuldiner from Death, or Jeff Hanneman of Slayer. Those three. Or fucking Lemmy from Motorhead. No, if I had to choose only one, it would be Quarton from Bathory. If it could be of alive, I don't think you're gonna guess this one, but it would be either Slayer with Kerry King and Tom Araya, or with James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich of Metallica. Why those big bands? Because I grew up with that stuff. So yeah, those would be the dream come true. They're so big that it's not likely that Rauta will ever have a chance to talk to these guys. But yeah, of course, it would be fucking great to sit down with, say, Tom Araya or Kerry King or James Hetfield and just talk and make this interview happen. So yeah, and of course, Vikernes, Fenris, Nocturno Culto. A lot of high priority interview possibilities for me if I got to choose. Cam Medical Pathologist is asking, was Black Winds a cool guy when you met him? I've met Black Winds at least 3 or 4 times over the course. And yeah, always been a really cool humble guy. Actually, a few years ago when I met Black Winds, we at Steelfest, we started talking about powerlifting. So it was really cool. We talked about doing squats and stuff and none of the metal thing going on. So yeah. And Cecilia Taylor, truth to be told, I'm not drunk. This is my second beer of the night, so hardly being drunk here. Hello, Mike the Psych. Welcome to the stream. Waldman, I don't know what you're saying. Nope, you are the sane guy, not the same guy. Yeah. Jerry Roland, but asking, this is the sour beer which I just opened, the Kamala Luonto. This is pretty cool. I was hoping even more sour. I would say this is the kind of a mainstream sour thing, meaning you get that sour feeling, but it's not like my face is like, you know. So this is the kind of a how to say mainstream friendly sour, kind of entry level thing. Sour, especially if you compare it to a lot of other beer styles out there. But then again, not sour in the sense of having a really sour beer, which is exactly like what I like. I have the weird thing. I like really hot food, say extreme spiciness. I also like extreme metal, as you know. I also like extreme dark and negative movies. And I like also extremely sour beers and sour candies. I guess I'm in so many ways into a lot of extreme things. Like things have to have a big fucking impact. Like I'm also extremely beautiful women. I cannot lie, motherfuckers. So yeah, but I mean, go for the extreme. beat, for the taste, for the music, for the scenes. Extreme experience. Then again, I gotta say, I do have some things I'm afraid of. Like when I was a few years ago, I was given the chance to do parachuting, and like, no fucking way, I'm not gonna jump from an airplane. Not this age anymore. So extreme heights, maybe not my thing really. But yeah, extreme tastes, extreme listens, and all that stuff. Fucking great. Uh, Cam is asking if Satanic Warmaster doesn't actually like black metal, likes new metal. I think he could really like new metal, but of course he likes black metal. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing the music for over 30 years. I don't know where people get these weird rumors. Arta Barre, thank you so much for your comment about being the blessed metal channel. Thank you so much. Makes me humble. Yeah, Natrid, I think Niflheim have been proudly doing the Scarlet thing, so why not? Yeah, like you said, balding with grace, and that's cool when the peoples have the balls to do that. But I still prefer this style. What else? Netridin, you have never heard of totem animal? Oh, you mean my? Yeah, platypus, definitely. I used to say Wolverine was my totem animal because Wolverines. I mean, I grew up with X Men, and Wolverine was the coolest character in X Men comics. So I learned a little bit about Wolverines as animals as well, and they can be fierce even if they're small and kill way bigger creatures and all that stuff. So in a way, that's very cool animal. But then again, platypus, that's so feared and fucked up. So I kind of resonate with that. Um, Now I don't know this name of this. Oops, I typed. I don't know the name of what the hell is karhukainen in English. I gotta check it out because that's kind of one of my totem animals. What they are fucking called? Tardigrade. Tardigrade, or colloquially known as water bears or moss piglets. These are fucking crazy animals. These could be my totem animals. Tardigrades. The name is fucking retarded. I just call them moss piglets from now on. These are great micro animals who can stand huge amount of heat, almost vacuum, huge amount of coldness, radiation, mind blowing. They look so fucking weird, and they're miniature in size, but tardigrades. They are. They could be my totem animal. I really love science and weird things, so yeah, I read about things like that. Hello, Iscariot. How it's going? India, 3 a.m. Nice to have you on the stream for a while. Oh yeah, Naturate. I'm teasing you with beer, and come to Finland. I'll buy you some really good beer. You should definitely come to Steelfest. Jerry Lump, from science point of view, curing hangover would be to drink Sprite or Seven Up. For some reason, that particular type of soda, I don't even remember what was the why it was exactly that, but it's better than Coke or Fanta, whatever Mountain Dew or whatever. But in general, there is no much cure. Walk a bit, drink a lot of water or mineral water or something, or that Sprite, Seven Up shit. Eat something salty and greasy. Have sex. I don't know. The basic, the best idea is not to drink too much, and also Drink water while you're drinking and eat before you go to bed. Yes, Natred, get some bourbon for birthday. How much you're gonna be? How old are you now? Yes, Trevor Lamba, we talked on Rauta Discord that the Abigor guy, PK, died recently. I made some dirty jokes about Abigor death and nobody reacted. Either nobody gave a shit or then my humor was too much off. And yeah, it's been all over the internet that it was suicide. The funny thing, he's as old as I, so he could have just waited it out and die of old age. No need to kill himself because Abigor didn't make good music. Da-da. And Abigor made quite a bad album a few years ago. Not the latest one, but the one before that. Damn. So maybe PK killed himself because he realized Abigor is not gonna make albums like Opus 4, Nachthymnen, whatever, or that TT was too much of a cunt. He's one of the, I guess, most obnoxious black metal guys on the internet. So it's a good reason to kill yourself when you realize your bandmate is an asshole. Sivrok is asking, did I see Suomi lost to Kreikka? I have no idea what sport you're talking about. Oh, Nico, your old colleagues is one of the founders of Massisburg. That's great. I think IT field just comes with geeks who are also into metal and stuff. So I guess that goes with it hand in hand. Yes, Nadred, I agree. Call of the Storms looks as young as ever. Oh, Nadred, by the way, talking of heights, a few years ago, this was before COVID, 2018 or so. We were at the Dubai in the highest building on Earth, 500 meters, how much ever it is, 1,500 feet or whatever, high up in the building, as high as you can go as a tourist, and staring through the fucking big ass glass windows. There's no fear of heights. Everything seems like a miniature cars. Tiny cars are driving on the street, and it looks fucking surreal. It doesn't look like you're staring through the window, but some weird ass screen doing a video game content or whatever. But it was weird to be that high in that building and seeing those tiny cars. So yeah, can be a kind of a mindfuck experience. Yeah, Ante Dano, I think I know what you mean about the being extremist, and it's weird that people like us don't necessarily get addicted to some hard ass drugs or political movements. But I don't know. I feel political people give me allergy, so that's why it's easy for me to stay away. Cami is asking what's the gnarliest movie I know. I don't know. It's hard to say, really. Um, we in Finland, we Finnish language, we call them like bad feeling movies. Like the movies that kind of make you feel bad because there's nothing happy in the ending or the storytelling. And I enjoyed a lot of those movies over the years, but I don't know which one would be my favorite. I mean, Apocalypse Now is my all-time favorite, but I don't think it's necessarily the gnarliest of them all. So yeah, and Gaudis is asking that did I know the platypus are extremely venomous? As far as I remember, only the male platypi are venomous, not the female one, if I remember correctly. So I do know they're venomous, but I think it's only about the male platypi. It's a weird animal. They have the kind of spikes. I think it's the the frontal legs, front legs. They have these spikes, and they're venomous, and they can be super fucking cute. Platypus. That's why I'm gonna show you what my Australian metalhead friend sent me a few years ago, and now people have been sending me some platypus items. I'm gonna show you. Wait. I do have some other platypus items here, but I don't remember where did the fuck I put them. Like I have a platypus pin, but I met this great Australian lady back in 2010 when I was dating my girlfriend back then, and I mean, those two ladies, my ex girlfriend and this Australian lady, they became a friend over the bus ride coming to Nummirok here in Finland, and became friends. And the Australian lady, of course, went back to her home country after the trip to Europe, Finland, and other parts of the world. And when she got back to Australia and learning that I like platypus, she sent me this plush toy. You might see some of the plushies here on the screen. When my finger is pointing, like there is you know, a moose from Norway. I brought that for my kid, but she wanted to give it back to me, like have them stored here in my room, as well as some Mario and Luigi on the background, the green cap you see barely over the top of my TV screen, as well as Heavy Saurus, the Finnish heavy metal band plush. So I do have some plushies here. It's not like I'm the cuddly toy guy, but when I'm given something, I just don't toss them away. I put them in a nice. So this has been on the top of my. You know, you don't see it, but there's the speaker. This is the left one. So the right one, which is somewhere here, this one lives on the top of it. And then there was this Australian band. I just don't know where I put it, but when they were sending me, it's somewhere here. My room is just full of weird kind of stuff. You don't get to see all of it because I can move the camera too much. But anyway, there was this Australian black metal band who recently sent me some album for review, and this Australian guy knew that I like platypus, so he with the CD he sent me a key ring of platypus style and also a pin. I don't know. I will see if I can find it. It's weird sometimes how your mind works when you start thinking. Like there is this band pin who gave me recently. Lord Humongous. I don't know why I still have here. I guess I had the idea of attaching to my camera or microphone back. So anyway, I got this Taronga platypus pin as well as keyring. I still haven't attached this to my bag. I don't know where I put it. Oh yeah, now I remember. I put the platypus keyring in use. It's actually in my car for our mailbox. So it's about this size of a platypus plushy keyring. So weird things, weird things. I don't know why I'm explaining you this, but yeah, yeah. Um, I have a soft spot for platypus stuff. Yeah, Codis, I figured out about the TARDIS, about like you said, 12,000 times to see them. So the point is not for me to see them. I just know they're incredible animals. Oh yeah, Martial Law, I hope you will like the new Night Side. I think the cover art is really great and fits the album mood perfectly. It's about coldness and darkness and fits the lyrics 100%. Hello, John Jared Rocks. Nice to have you here on the stream. I hope your parcel is reaching you soon. Yes, Naturate Steelfest 2024 Nightside Live. You should be right there. Good lineup and always a great festival. 32. So you're a young man in your best age. Martmele, I have actually interviewed some of the guys, Kim included, before Rauta got started and the pre-Rauta phase. I can find it for you. Let me see. Oh yeah, I should have the link about hypothermia for you. Yes, here it is. I found the link. So, oops, wrong window. So this happened in 2016, a year before we started Rauta. So this is the pre-Rauta stuff. I was doing this for Moon TV, and some Moon TV people joined forces with me, and that's how Rauta got born in 2017. So this is 2016 when Hyperthermia played in my home city at Turku Saatamalla Fest. So there's the interview, of course, in English. Leif is asking, do I think AI will create more shitty music or great music? First of all, AI doesn't really create anything. It's just generating stuff based on existing stuff. So I don't think AI is gonna really create anything. It's just gonna combine things into combining new and old, and maybe there will be some interesting parts. But I am kind of pessimistic that AI is able to generate anything interesting in that sense. Yes, Natural Abigor has more good albums than bad ones, but it's still one of the bands that actually made bad ones, not just mediocre ones. KB is asking what I think about Old Man's Child and Galder's split from Dimmu. Now, I already heard some rumors last year that there is some negativity going on in the Dimmu camp, meaning some issues with the band members. So I wasn't really surprised when I heard that Galder is breaking up or splitting Dimmu. I mean, sometimes people have problems with their brothers in war. And I guess Galder was, in this case, I don't know, having issues with Shatrauk or not Shatrauk, but fuck. Sorry, I'm forget losing the name here, but you know what I'm talking about. Either anyway, when there are problems in a band and you have other bands and you might essentially feel like, okay, I'm leaving the band. Okay, what the fuck? The name. Yeah, Shagrath. So Silenos or Sagrath. I don't know. Maybe Calder had problems with either one. So Leif, I don't know how the Dimu lineup will be, but I think they have enough money to actually get a mercenary to play the second guitar, much like Gorgoroth. I mean, Infernus is the only real member of the band, and the rest are mercenaries. Yeah, Lucas, I think the Or Noir interview part two is way better than the first one, but maybe there is general feeling with the guys that they're not that much into talking, but there was, in my opinion, a good mood. I don't know why somebody said it's the best interview so far on Rauta channel. I wouldn't agree, but I'm happy if someone thinks it's a good interview because I mean I'm happy about it. But yeah, maybe not the most talkative guys. And yeah, naturally, I was in Dubai, maybe 2018 with the family. So a crazy amount of rich, expensive cars, Porsches, Ferraris, Rolls Royces. What the fuck, man? Dubai is a weird fucking place. So yeah, Mecca of high rollers. All right, Martbele, I hope you like the interview. It's not as long as with Rauta, but I mean that was of course before we started the Rauta. So back in the days, the interviews were shorter. Yes, Lex, we have those Jehovah's Witness and other people come about, even though it's not technically speaking, not necessarily allowed in all the places and whatnot. But whatever. Antti Tanuha, yes, I listened to the Antifa band Spectral Wound, the latest one. It sounded pretty good, but not going in my top five of the list. Hello, Reina. Aria Satanica Vampirica. I like your name. Yeah, Reina means like queen. So Queen Aria Satanica Vampirica. Satanic Vampire Aria Queen. That's quite a name or title. Uh, I don't know much about Lord Valkufrtake, but do remember reading a little bit about it. Thor Our Lord. There's so many years I haven't been listening to that band, but I remember it being somewhat good. Waldman, I have, I think, reviewed over the years one Chinese band, and then I've seen one Chinese band play. Zuriake uh, played at Steelfest a few years ago. But yeah, usually Chinese bands kind of go off the radar. Can't say I have heard be persecuted. Sounds like a weird name though. Okay, I've caught up with the backlog. Once again, please, people, remember to use the tag. And of course, if you want to help the cause, I'm just going to repost the links here. Here's the Patreon possibility to support Rauta, Ask Natred, or Chancered, why it is possibly worth your money. And if you want to otherwise support Rauta cause, here's the possibility to donate through PayPal. Why I need to mention these is because, of course, I hope we can do more trips with Rauta team in the future as well. Now it might be a good time to explain what's going to happen in the near future. Next week it's going to be Cult of Darkness. I hope I get to do at least one interview right there. But then again, because we are also playing there with my own band Nightside, I don't know how we're able to do that with schedule wise and all. Now, come November, some bands, including Earn and Morgal and other bands, are gonna play in my home city. So let's hope something is happening there. There are also some bands late September and October happening here. I hope to make some interviews, but it's really hard to say for sure which one of those will be happening. And one important thing, guys, mark this on your calendars. especially if you're from Finland or nearby countries. Not so much maybe from United States, but who knows? This is actually very very cool news for people, even for United States. Turku Saatanalle Festival 2025. The bands will be announced next Thursday. I repeat, Thursday, 12th of September. Me and Jussi from Metalli Helvetti, the organizer, we will be announcing the lineup for Turku Saatanalle 2025 lineup. And there will be some really exclusive, interesting bands to be there. Something that you might not be able to see even at Steelfest. So, people, make notes. The stream will happen at um, 10 o'clock Finnish time. This started at 11, so roughly the same line, meaning 10 p.m. Finnish time, which is 7 p.m. UTC or GMT. So next Thursday, Thursday 12th of September, Turku Saatanalle 2025 lineup announcements. I've seen already the list, so I know what to expect. And Jussi, the Metalli Helvetti guy, was saying it's pretty clear, it's pretty evident that the tickets will sell fast when they announce. And I think the ticket sales will start like 2 days after the announcements. So you'd have time to react. And why we're doing it on stream? Well, first of all, it's a great thing for me to announce something. I hope that someday we can do similar thing with Steelfest. But anyway, when we can do the lineup announcement on stream, meaning that you people can also ask questions from me and Jussi, who will be taking the leather seat right here. So pay attention next Thursday and join us for the stream for Turku Saatanalle 2025 lineup. Lucas is asking what I consider as the first black metal band or album. Well, I would give the credit to Venom. Even though Venom might not sound black metal as nowadays standards, I still think that Venom was the pioneer because every band, every style, every genre starts with something, and calling it Venom, not sounding like black metal's nowadays standard, I think it's bullshit. It's saying like, hey, early Mayhem didn't sound black metal like at all. So I think it's just revisionistic take. So yeah, Venom is the first black metal band in my opinion. Rötkösen Jussi, terve vaan. Tässä holutta ja streamia. Cameron, you're listening to the latest album of what exactly? Havukruunu, Nightside, whatever. Raul Conte, I would be really really happy to play with Nightside in Italy. So let's hope it happens next year maybe. Mark Millie is asking what's a band I think could have been into something if they had not broken up. There are plenty of those bands. My own band, Nightside, is a good example. If we hadn't broken up in the early 2000s, we would be big now. But there are plenty of bands that suffered from, lineup changes or people leaving. I could even say Gorgoroth would be bigger if it wasn't with the lineup problems. Bathory would be a lot bigger. Burzum would be a lot bigger if they played live. So there were lots of bands that would have gone in different ways if they never split up or a member died. So the list is massive. Yeah, but I think Absu is very, very good live band, and all, of course, also an album. So yeah, Steelfest, even without the bigger names, is already good in terms of lineup for me. And I've seen Absu live, and I know they're fucking fierce. Definitely one of the better ones in terms of black metal, and they're doing it with Zemial. And I know the Zemial guy, Warskath, is a good friend with Proscriptor from Abzu, like being pen pal for 30 years. You will see it if you take a look at my Zemiel interview in 2019, when those two guys, Proscriptor from Abzu and Vorscott from Zemiel, are talking together, and they basically address the thing that they've been pen pals from the early 90s. And when they play live together, like they did back in 2019, they played both with the Zemial, and now I think they're both doing with Absu. I think it's going to be fantastic. Both are nice guys too, but also it's really great connection, the Greek American connection. Zemial from Greece and Absu from United States. I think it's going to be great. So yeah, definitely worth the ticket. That well. Rutger Jussi is asking about Turku Saatana. Never been there. I think it's one of the better festivals we have in terms of black metal in Finland. So Rutger Jussi, prepare to come to Turku 2025. So it's gonna be interesting lineup, really. Raul Conte is asking or saying that new Horna is gonna be hyped. I've heard already the new Horna album. I think it's a very, very safe Horna album. So if you're already an existing Horna fan, you're not going to be disappointed. But if you don't like Horna that much, the new album isn't going to change anything. Rutger Jussi, obviously, I cannot comment Turku Saatana lineup more than that, but I can tell you that some of the bands you mentioned have played already at Turku Saatana. Will they play again? Who knows? For example, Satanic Warmaster, I think they have played like twice at Turku Saatanalle. Horna has played at least once. So, I don't know. We'll see. Turku Saatanalle 25 is happening early March. And flying from Poland to Turku is very, very cheap from Gdansk. So, yeah, definitely if you live in Poland, there's no excuse why not to come to Turku. Lex Beltram is asking, what are my favorite PS5 games? I need to think about it. There's so many good games on PlayStation 5, like God of War Ragnarok. I was actually, just before the stream, I was playing Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not exactly a Harry Potter fan, but the game is great. So my favorite games on PS5, I need to think about it because I play as much on Xbox as much as I had PlayStation 5. Maybe God of War Ragnarok has been my favorite because I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla on Xbox. Of course, I'm stoked about GTA 6, but that's not out yet, so it doesn't count. Mm, if you remove the exclusives, and hard to say, I think I played Deathloop on Xbox. That was one of the better games on this generation too. Um, yeah, maybe God of War Ragnarok is so far my favorite exclusive game for PS5. Igor, yes, I'm familiar somewhat with the Circle of Ouroboros. I know the other guy, I guess main guy, used to be my journalist colleague. I asked him for interview a few years ago, but wasn't interested. I guess they don't want to do video interviews. Oh, by the way, I need to be going in about 15 minutes. I'm on a tight schedule here because I really need to wake up around 9 and it's going to be 1 o'clock very soon. So, final questions, please. Rutger Jussi, perkele, where's Marty? We don't know where Marty is. Maybe Marty will pop up next weekend at Cult of Darkness Festival. Yes, Reina, I've noticed the Lord Valgriff Flake in various bands, and I've reviewed some of his material. Curiously enough, my drummer's wife is from Chile, so she knows some of the scene. Atsubamhani. I can't recall remembering that. Arrebare, yeah, Tara is my favorite Apsu album. In my opinion, actually, Tara is one of the best black metal albums of all time. Martmele, my take on the Gorgoroth thing when versus Gaul versus Infernus. Well, in my opinion, Gaul and King of Hell tried to take the name for themselves, which would have been fucking weird, considering that neither they are, original members. I mean, it's Infernus bands clearly, so felt fucking weird that Gaul and King of Hell tried to coup the band. I don't know if it's the right word. What I heard is that Gaul is more or less kind of a forgiven. I think they have settled the thing here, but it sounded like a shitty move, in my opinion. Yeah, and I've met Gaul a couple of times. I was supposed to have an interview with him actually this August. So I think he seems like a nice guy, based on my couple of times talking to him. I think I'm no, I met him like three times. Last year in 2019 and some 2008 or so. Never met Infernus. He's more of a seclusive guy, I guess. A reclusive guy. Is that the right word? So I don't know him. Can't comment, but felt weird that they tried to take his band. And yeah, people can of course be different from on a camera. Yeah, yeah, Lucas. Then you should totally come to Turku. You will love the lineup. I'm pretty sure of that. Turku Satanal is always a great festival, and last year was really good in terms of lineup. But next year, I think they're really dropping the bomb. It's gonna be important. Yeah, I'm gonna say it out loud. I think a lot of people already know it, but I've never been actually a big Horna fan. For me, the best Horna album has been Evangels of Satan, and that's something like what 15 years ago. But anyway, Horna retrospective video coming up soon, and actually tomorrow is my Beherit retrospective episode coming out, and then I will soon start my Finnish black metal from the 90s series in the similar fashion I did with the Norwegian bands last year. So I'm going to be addressing a lot of Finnish black metal bands, three bands per episode eventually. So I will be talking about them later on. Cecilia Taylor, I heard last year that King of Hell is talking some weird tinfoil hat stuff in the scene. So I don't know. I've met King of Hell once. Oh yeah, this reminds. I met Carl maybe like actually. Let me think. 2003, 2008, 19. Mm, yeah. Considering that I've met Gal four or five times by now, I met King of Hell only once, and that was 20 years ago. I think it was 2004 when I met him in Oslo. Didn't seem like a weird guy back in the days, but I don't know how he is nowadays. Waldman, I don't think I'll be going to Inferno 2025. It's quite boring lineup, to be honest. I think it's my first time in 4 years when I'm not going to Inferno 25. We are looking for some other festival with my cameraman to attend to early 2025. Oh, please, people, I will be leaving in about 10 minutes. If you need to ask me, tag me, like tag at Rauta, and I will see your comments easier. I will prioritize the comments with my names mentioned because they are highlighted here on the chat. Yes, Thunder Rocks and Numinos is good stuff. So nothing outstanding, but good. Um, Lex, my daughter listens mostly Finnish pop music nowadays. When she's figured out she can listen to the radio and Spotify. Ryan, I am gonna do retrospective videos mainly on the bands I've interviewed, which is about 180 bands so far. Um, and then I will be covering those bands, the Finnish black metal bands on the Finnish black metal series. It's kind of a similar than the retrospective, but not as deep. So there will be some overlapping with retrospective focused on single band versus the band I'm gonna go quickly through. So Beheksen will be in one of those Finnish black metal bands from the 90s episodes, but no retrospective for the given time. But yeah, it will be. I will be going through that as well. Oh yeah, workout videos. Well, they're really hard to organize with the bands. Most bands don't either work out or then we are out of the gym possibilities. So I don't know if the workout interviews are likely to happen, especially that not my home gym is very small. And now I live farther away than when I lived when Blood Jelly's interview was happening. But let's hope that a new workout video or interview will happen someday. Yeah, Jared, I can't really say what he does for his private life as a as his main job. I don't know. Igor, I haven't heard new Tirane, so can't really say about anything about it. But I guess there will be news about the new album when there's something to tell about. Yeah, but can't say anything else. But I don't know why Gorton decided to do Requiem or Octagon. They're not good albums. Horrible. Raul Conde, what do you mean? Will there be a giveaway? Where? Yeah, Cecilia, you can take care of the Discord. I'm not gonna be bothered about it. Genre Knox, no, not M.A. Numminen, more like nowadays pop music. I think Antti Tanhua is closer to the truth here. Octagon and Requiem are the shittiest of Bathory. Everything else is more or less good. All right, guys. Final comments. I'm about to leave in like 5 minutes. So put your questions. All right. Just checking out some of the comments. Yep. No question, Mark Millen. Thank you for being on the stream. Arbar, I've interviewed already Proscriptor in 2019, so I don't know. I haven't yet planned for Steelfest 2025 interviews. It's way too far away from me, and because we're gonna play there with my own band, obviously it's gonna affect how many bands I can interview at Steelfest. So I don't know yet. Um, so we shall see. First, we'll have to tackle 2024 with interviews and everything. Raul Conte is asking, what's the best Finnish and foreign beer, in my opinion? There's so many good beers that it would be hard to just list one. But my favorite beer brand from Finland is Coolhead, and their Salmiak Raspberry Sour is my favorite, probably from Finland. From outside Finland, one of my all-time favorites definitely is the kind of a strong habanero beer, of habanero IPA, for example. At least fuck, I cannot really remember the name. There was this habanero IPA from Scalpin from United States. Really fucking good beer. Then again, Mikkeller also made really great raspberry sours back in the day, so those would be very high on the list. But listing just one beer over the others because they kind of a taste. There are lots of similarities, so it's hard to name just one beer over the others. So I'd rather go with breweries versus just single beers. All right, good night, Waldemar. Have a great evening and all. And Dawson, even though I know Mikko, I don't remember his birthday date. Thank you, KV. If you don't mind joining Patreon, that would be fucking great, of course. Thank you so much. Cecilia, I don't know if I'm going to Spain. I mean, most likely I will be going to Spain again, but don't know if it's this year or the next. Oh, Lucas, I know worse beer than Lapin Pasca. The first Motorhead beer was really, really fucking horrible. Arrebara is asking what are my thoughts on Wagner Ödegaard. So far, what I've heard, I haven't heard all the albums. It's pretty good, but still, to be honest, nothing out of ordinary. There are better bands coming from Sweden, in my opinion, but it's a band we're checking out. All right, guys. I'll give you the next date roughly when monthly stream will be happening. If nothing else is, if anything else isn't stopping me, mark down your calendars that the next monthly stream is taking place on October 5th, Saturday, obviously. But all like I said, we will have some Turku Satana live stream lineup announcement video next week, Thursday. Now, this is all I can tell you right now. And like I said, Beherit retrospective video coming out tomorrow. So stay tuned for 30 minutes of Beherit talk. Maybe it's too much for a lot of you. Maybe it's not. Who knows? I don't get to decide for you. All right, people. Good night. And Nestor, I've already heard the whole album of the new Horna. I think it's gonna be safe Horna album for Horna fans and all. All right, so Halloween stream maybe or maybe not. We shall talk to you people in October. Good night, and people stay metal and stay brutal. Good night.